Okay, so let's have a quick recap what we have discussed in the last session. In the last session, we have discussed about the introduction about AWS, and we have discussed about what we are going to learn in this training. And if you are going to join the course, what you will get from our side. And then we have learned about how to create our AWS account also. And in today's session, we are going to learn about how we can create our AWS EC2 machine. And we are going to first learn about the Windows EC2 machine. And then if time permits, we can learn about how we can create the Linux EC2 machine also. But before starting on this particular topic, any question anyone have, please let me know. Anyone have any question, you can please raise your hand. Okay, no one is raising hands, so look like no one has any question. So let's start with the today's topic where we are going to start learning about how to create an EC2 machine. But before learning about how to create an EC2 machine, we need to understand what is EC2. EC2 stands for Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud. In general language, it is also called as virtual server also. It is also called as virtual machine also. Now, what is EC2 or virtual machine or virtual server? Where what we are going to do it is the computer, like the computer which I'm using, this type of computer, I can create this type of computer in AWS infrastructure, and that particular computer we can access from any part of the world. Like I have this particular laptop with the same configuration. I want to create a computer. I want to create a server in Amazon infrastructure. So to create that particular server on Amazon infrastructure, we can use a service called EC2. And definitely whenever we are creating a computer or when we're buying a computer, we need an operating system. Which operating system is supported by the Amazon EC2? Amazon Linux, Ubuntu, Windows, Red Hat, Mac, Oracle Linux, CentOS. So they have a lot of different range of operating system we have, which is supported by the AWS EC2 machine. Now, guys, whenever we are buying a computer, what is the basic thing every person is taking? Can you please confirm in the chat box? Correct. We are checking RAM, then other things. Very basic things. Don't go in much more in depth. Basic thing whenever I'm buying a computer, anyone is taking it. Correct. Hard disk. Anything else? CPU. Anything else? Operating system. So these four things, these four basic things, every person is checking, like which operating system is getting. Windows, he's checking, taking Linux, he's going to take Mac operating system. Whichever he want, he's going to go with that. CPU, RAM, hard disk, and operating system. These are the four basic things every person is going to check. Now, first of all, what we have to do, we have to log into our AWS account. So I already have logged into my AWS account, but let me log in again. So first of all, to log into AWS account, you have to go to a website called aws.amazon.com. Then you can click on sign in. Even the link which is given on the PPT we have seen in the yesterday, the link is already given there. Let me log out my user. Again, I'll do the aws.amazon.com. Click on sign in. It is asking us to create account. No, we don't need to create account. We need to click on sign in. When I click on sign, it is moving to this page. Okay, just click on sign in using root user email. Now here we got two options, root user and IAM user. Right now we are learning about, right now we are going to log in by using root user. In our upcoming session, we are going to learn about IAM also, how we can log into IAM user. But to learn about how to log into IAM user, we need to learn IAM service. So it's a part of our training. We are going to learn IAM service, and it's very important service we have in AWS. So I'm entering my email ID. Next, password, sign in. Why they want me to skip for now? What is this? We'll discuss. This is called MFA. We can discuss it later. So they want me to do that. I'm just doing skip for now. I don't want any MFA right now. What is this MFA? MFA is used to secure our accounts. So multiple verification to log in our account. Now, I'm able to log into my AWS account. The first thing what we have to do it is after login to our AWS account is we have to select a region. The region means in which particular data center you have to create this particular server. Like in previous session, we have discussed it. Currently, there are 33 regions we have in AWS, which are live right now, where we are going to create that particular servers. So where we can select that, here we can select. You can see here in my AWS account, by default, it is selected the Mumbai region. You can select any of the region, whichever is near to you. You can select that. Or if you want to go with any other region, you can go with that. So here we are getting full list. But it's not actually full list. There are few regions which are by default disabled in AWS account. There are 12 regions which are not by default enabled in our AWS account. And in our AWS account also, it's not by default enabled. So don't select these ones. So whichever is enabled, you can select that. And if you want to learn how to enable those regions, I already have a self-learning video in the PPT, which I'm going to upload. In that the self-learning video link, you will get it. So there are some the PPTs, whichever I'm going to share with you, not in every PPT, in some of the PPTs on the last slide, not on the last slide, second last slide, there will be a self-learning link. You have it, not in every PPT, but in some of the PPTs you will find it. So once you complete your practice for that particular PPT, make sure whatever the links is given there, you always check. Those links will help you to learn some more things in AWS, because these are very small things, which is not, I didn't add in the course content, but I have already created the videos for them. I'm giving to you so you can learn by yourself. These are very small things you can easily learn by yourself also. If the big things we are learning, small things you are getting some self-learning videos, and it's not even part in the course content. I didn't mention those things in the course content, which I'm giving you the self-learning videos. So by default for my AWS account, it's Mumbai region. I'm using Mumbai region. So it means I'm sitting in US. From US, I'm going to work on Mumbai servers. So I can even select California also, any of the region, whichever I want to select. I can select US also. I can select Australia regions, Australia, Sydney region also I can select. I can select Europe also. You can work from any part of the location in any of the region. Now, after selecting of our region, the next thing is we have to select EC2 service. In my AWS account, it's showing here because I have recently visited, but might be in your account, it will not show here. So here we have a search box, search EC2. What is the tagline? Virtual servers in the cloud. That's what we have discussed it. Here it is, EC2. Next step. Now, whatever the steps you have to follow, it is mentioned in the PPT. So these PPTs, you will get it in the form of PDF. So when you're doing practice, you can follow these steps for a practice purpose also. Now click on launch instance. You can go to instance also, or you can go to launch instance. So just click on launch instance. Now, to create this particular EC2 machine, there are few steps we have to follow. The first step is we have to give the name to this EC2 machine. And it can be any name. It's not mandatory to be a unique name. It can be any name. So let's just give the name as Windows 348. So here I've given the name to my EC2 machine. Step 1 is completed. Step 2. Step 2 is we have to select the operating system. Now, there are few terminologies which I'm going to share with you, which you have to remember it in upcoming days. I know it's not possible to remember the new terminologies in one single day. Even it was not possible for me when I was a student. So I'm going to tell you the basic terminology which is used in our daily life, but I'm going to tell you the terminology which is used in AWS. Because in upcoming sessions, I'm not going to use the terminology which is used in daily life. I'm going to use a terminology which is used in AWS. Like I just use a word called operating system. In AWS, we don't call it as operating system. In AWS, we call it as AMI. Amazon Machine Image. So the second step, what we have to do it is after giving the name, we have to select AMI. So here I'm getting Amazon Linux, Mac, Ubuntu, Windows, Red Hat, Sushi. So Debian, we are getting it. If we want to browse more, here we have a browse option also. But we are not going with browse right now. We'll see later. Right now, which I'm going to select? Microsoft. Now, when I select Microsoft, under my Windows, Microsoft, what are the list of operating system we have? Here I'm getting. So these are coming under my Windows. Which one you can select? Make sure when you're doing practice, you can always select the one where it is clearly mentioned as free tier eligible. In organization, we are selecting as per the client requirement. Whatever the client requirement they have, that particular one we have to select. That is going to decide by the client. But for a practice purpose, make sure you are selecting which is mentioned as free tier eligible. So whichever is coming with free tier eligible, you can select any one. I'm going with the latest one, which is 2022, and it was on the top. I'm going with the default one. So I've selected the Windows 2022. Yes. And whatever the AMI we are selecting, every AMI have its own unique ID. And these IDs are region specific. Means this particular ID you will not find in any other region. This Windows Server 2022 AMI ID, which we are getting it, this is specific for Mumbai region. If I go to another region, like I go to Sydney region, their same configuration AMI ID will have the different AMI. So AMI IDs are region specific. Now this is interview question, can be an interview question. They can ask you the AMI IDs which we have, are they region specific or it's globally same? Globally means all regions. No, it's not globally same. It's just specific to one region. Now, few minutes before we have discussed it, whenever we are buying a computer, we see the basic things. So operating system, we have selected Windows 2022. Now I need to select CPU and RAM. I'm going with CPU and RAM. How much is my requirement? I have a very basic requirement right now. I just need 1 GB of RAM and one CPU. That's a very basic requirement I have. I don't want to go with the more requirement. In future, if you want to go with more requirement, we can increase that. So right now is my basic requirement. One CPU, 1 GB of the RAM. We are just going with that. Now, can I select separate CPU and RAM? No, we can't select separate CPU and RAM. Whenever we have to select together. So scroll down. Here I'm getting. That is called as instance type. And guys, if you have any question, please don't raise your hand right now. Once we complete this topic, definitely I'll give you the chance to speak. Or please don't post your questions in chat box. Not possible for me to give you reply you there. So that's why I stopped the chat also for now. Don't worry. I know that you guys have question. Once I completed a little bit of topic, I'll give you the chance to speak. Then you can ask your questions. Don't worry about that. Don't worry, without going to clear your doubts, I'm not going to end the session. Now, so we have to select CPU and RAM. How much CPU and RAM we need? 1 GB of one CPU and 1 GB of the RAM is my requirement. Now, here, what is T2.nano? This is the name of the instance type. With this, we are getting it how much CPU and RAM we are getting. One CPU, 0.5 RAM. T2.micro, one CPU, 1 GB of RAM. T2.small, one CPU, 2 GB of RAM. T.medium, 2 CPU, 4 GB of RAM. So like these are the names. Like my name is Ankit. Someone name is Arjun. Someone name is Karan. Someone name is Andy. So these are the names we have it. So same way AWS has give the different instance type name where they are creating that family, where they are giving in this particular name, this much of CPU and RAM we are getting it. T2.large, 2 CPU, 8 GB of RAM. T2.xlarge, 4 CPU, 16 GB of RAM. So like this, they have created with the combination of CPU and RAM. That's what we have to select here. Now, which one I can select? By default, it is showing me T2.micro. And T2.micro is coming under free tier eligible. If you guys remember in yesterday's session, I have shown you something. Let me show you that particular thing again. On PPT number 1, page number 6, we have seen this particular link. Let me open this link again. Click open, scroll down. Here, the first survey which is showing us as Amazon EC2 750 hours per month. So we have 750 hours per month free for Linux, 750 hours per month free for Windows. So it means for Linux, we have 750 hours separate. For Windows, we have a separate 750 hours. But which type I can use? Here they have mentioned the types. In few regions, we can use T2.micro. In few regions, we can use T3.micro. So if you see T2.micro or T3.micro under instance type, these two are coming under your free tier. Same with Linux, same with Windows. So even they have clearly mentioned also here, free tier eligible. So for your practice purpose, you have to go with the 1 CPU and 1 GB of the RAM. If you go with more than that, or if you go with less than that, they will charge you for it. So make sure when you're doing practice, you are always going to select T2.micro. So in T2.micro, you will get 1 CPU and 1 GB of the RAM. So how many steps we have completed? 3. First, we have given the name. Second step, we have selected our AMI, which is normal language, call it as operating system. That we have selected Windows Server 2022. And then we have selected CPU and RAM with 1 CPU and 1 GB of the. So 3 steps we have completed. Now, anyone have any question, please raise your hand. Then we'll move forward with our upcoming steps. Yes, Baswaraj.
Audible?
Yes, I'm able to hear you.
Yeah. Suppose I wanted to increase the RAM or CPU for the Windows server. Is this possible? Can I do
In
customize?
future means like right now you're creating, your question is right now you're creating with 1 CPU and 1 GB of RAM. Now you have to increase to more. That's your
Yeah.
question? Yes,
Yeah.
it is
Yeah. Yeah.
possible. We will learn in upcoming session how to do that. And it's a very important thing because every organization start with basics. In future, whenever they have to increase, they'll increase it. We'll learn it in upcoming session.
Okay.
That is
Fine.
called, that topic is called as scale up.
Scale up.
Yes, that's a correct word which is used in our organizations. Okay.
Okay.
And that particular
Fine.
topic, we learn it once we reach to a PPT number. Here is it, 25. Then we are going to learn the topic.
Okay. Then
Okay.
similarly we can uh, means for actually we are increasing RAM for a Windows server right now here, and for the similar thing we can do for Linux as well, right?
Process is same. The process is same for Windows also, Linux also. There is no difference in the process.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Mohan.
Yeah, hi, Ankit.
Hi.
Uh, Before starting the creating the EC2 instance, right? That time you selected the region.
Correct.
Is there any specific reason? I mean, reason to select a particular
No,
region?
no. You
I
can
mean,
anyone,
in
anyone,
that
whichever is
case,
near to you.
okay. In that case, I mean, what is the benefit of selecting which is near to us? If
Just
I'm
to get
staying
a
in
better
India, right? I want
better
to.
connective. I'm living in US. I'm selecting
Okay,
Mumbai one.
okay,
I'm still selecting the Mumbai one. I'm just saying that select the nearby which because you are more aware of that particular city. You know the
mm,
name of that one. That's what just I'm saying. It doesn't make any difference.
okay,
I'm still living in US. I'm selecting Mumbai one. Doesn't make any difference. Okay, so you remember it which city you have selected. That's why you are from that particular country. You know that which city you selected. So in future, when you're doing practice, you remember it which region you have selected. That's the only thing.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, Javed.
Fine. So question is, let's say if two users selects the same region and same configuration and everything, so will they
Two
both be having?
users means like you are one user, I'm a one other user like this.
Yes,
I can say
yes,
that.
yeah. No,
Okay.
two root user from two different accounts. Okay,
Hmm.
so they are using same server configuration and same region. So will they both be
Okay.
given the same AMI ID?
Yes.
Okay,
Because these are the AMIDs which we have it. These are the AMIs IDs we are getting from AWS. You want to create your own AMI, you can create your own AMI also. That will be a unique AMI ID you will get it. How to create your own AMI, we can learn in upcoming session.
okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yes, Vipin.
Hello. You showed actually that Linux machine also we can get 750 hours, Windows also 750 hours, but the public IP is shared, right? Or is it
Correct.
possible? Yeah.
Public IP is going to be just only public IP. We have 750 hours per month. So that is not mentioned specific for Windows, not specific for Linux. That is 750 hours.
Okay. So that is
Okay.
either, that means like either Linux or Windows
It
in that
is
case.
just mentioned 750 hours per month. They didn't mention it is specific for Linux or Windows. So it means it will send 50 hours for one single AWS account.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay. So moving to the next step. The next step is called as key pair. Key pair, I can say, is like a password to us. To connect our machine, we are going to use key pair. Now, what is this key pair? Key pair is actually a combination of two keys. One is called as public key and other one is called as private key. Public key is going to store in cloud and private key is going to download in our local machine. Public key is going to store in AWS cloud. Means when I'm going to generate this particular key, there are two keys they are going to generate. Public and private. Private key is going to download in my local machine and public key is going to store in AWS. And one important point, there is only a one single chance we'll get to download this particular key. There is no option you can re-download that particular private key again and again. There is no option. So you can get only one single chance to download that private. You have in the organization, what we were doing it, we were making the different copies of that particular key in different places. So if we lost that particular key, wherever we have stored in some other place, we can get from. So there is only one single chance we are getting it to download that particular private key. So how we can create a key? Click on create new key. Then we have to give the name. I can give the name as Windows -348-key. This is the name I can give. And here we are getting something called PEM and PPK. We have to go with PEM. What is this PPK? We are going to learn in our upcoming sessions. Right now, we just go with PEM. It is clearly mentioned PPK for use with putty. And putty is not used for Windows machine. Putty is used for Linux machine. So PPK is used for Linux machine, not for Windows machine. So what is this PPK? We'll discuss in upcoming session. So click on create key pair. Now when I click on create key pair, here they have downloaded the PEM file. And what is the extension of this file? PEM. And I'm going to store this PEM file in my local machine. In our folder batch 348, I have stored this particular key. Done. Here we are. So we have completed step 4. Scroll down. Here we have something network settings. I'm not going to change any of the settings. These one, I'm going with the default one. What is this VPC subnet auto sign public IP? We are going to discuss in our upcoming session once we come to this particular service called VPC. That time we are going to discuss about this service. It's very important service. Without that particular service, we can't create these EC2 machines. So this is very important. We are not going to discuss anything about VPC service. Just go as it is, default which we are getting it. Now, next we have to create is security group. Now, what is the security group? Security group is a set of firewall rules which we are going to enable. If we are going to enable those firewall rules, then we can connect to this particular Windows machine. If you are not going to enable those firewall rules, we can't connect to this Windows machine. And by default, they are enabling the rule. Which rule they are enabling? RDP. To connect our Windows machine, it is mandatory to enable RDP port number, which is by default they are doing it. If you are not enabling this particular port number, you can't connect to this particular Windows machine. And if you can't connect to this Windows machine, there is no use of to create this particular Windows machine. Now, anyone, I'm enabling the chat box. I have a question. You can please send your answers in the chat box. Anyone knows the port number for RDP? If anyone knows, you can please confirm in the chat box what is the port number for RDP. Whatever the answers I got, those are incorrect. Okay, now I got a correct answer. Okay, the correct answer is 3389. So this is the port number for RDP port number. So this particular port system is enabling for this particular Windows machine. If you are not enabling this port number, we can't connect to our machine. So this particular port number they are enabling, and it is mentioned as anywhere. Anywhere means I can connect to this particular machine from any part of the world. You just need username and password. If you have that, you can connect to this machine from any part of the. We have some more options also, custom my IP. Regarding these options, we will discuss in our upcoming session. And this is the name of my security group. By default, they are giving this name Launch Wizard 2. Can I give my name to this particular security group? Yes, I can give my own name. So how can I give? Network settings you have to edit. And here I can give my own name. And you can see here I'm able to see the port range 3389. I'm just giving the name. It can be any name. So I'm just giving this name, Windows-348-SG. RDP port number they are enabling, source type anywhere. And this is the name I give. Why I'm giving my name? I can even go with the default name also, but I'm giving my name. So in future also we can use this particular same security. It's not mandated to give your own name to the security group. You can go with the default name also. But it's better to give it. So in future reference, you can easily use the same security. So one more step we have completed. So first step is name. Second step is EMI. Third is instance type where we have select CPU and RAM. Fourth is key pairs like our password. Fifth is we have created our security group where we have enabled the port number RD. And these details, I'm going with the default one. I'm not talking about these three details right now. Regarding these three details, we will discuss in upcoming session. Once we reach to a service called BPC, then we are going to discuss it. Not right now. Now, storage. Hard disk. So by default, how much hard disk they are giving us? 30 GB for Windows machine. And maximum 30 GB is free for one single EC2 machine. Maximum 30 GB they are giving free for one single EC2 machine. If you are going with more than 30 GB, they will charge you. Less than 30 GB, they will not charge you anything because maximum 30 GB is free. And for Windows machine, minimum 30 GB is required to create EC2 machine. Minimum requirement is 30 GB. And then here we have advanced details. What is this advanced details? I'm not going to discuss about these details. These details we will discuss in our upcoming session. And in right-hand side, here we have summary. Number of instance, 1. How many machines I want to create? Only 1. If I want to create 2, I can give 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can give that. There is no limitation we have. I want to create 1,000. I can create 1,000. I want to create 10,000. I can create 10,000 machines also. But I don't need those much. I just need only one single. So I'm just giving yes 1. Here I can see which AMI we have selected, which instance type we have selected, which security group we have selected, it is showing new security group. Why it is showing new security group? Because we are creating a new security group here. Volume 30 GB. And we can review here also. Name, AMI, instance type, key pair, security group, storage. Here. Now, what is the next step we have to do? We have to click on launch instance. So by clicking on launch instance, we are going to create the EC2 machine. Now, till the time system is creating our EC2 machine, any question anyone have, please raise your hand. Yes, Mohan.
Yeah, hi. Just now we created a security group, right? Can we
Yes.
customize the rules or IP addresses in the security group from which IP address or region specific
you
IP
want
address will
to-
be there, right?
Like you want to restrict that only from the specific IP addresses you can access that machine?
Yeah, like that.
Yes, it is possible. You can do that. Right now we have given anywhere. We have two more options there. One option was custom. In custom one, you can give custom IP address. In there is one third option was my IP address. My IP address, they will automatically pick my IP address there. We'll learn about those two options in our upcoming session.
Okay.
Okay, it's not possible for me to teach you everything in one single session, Mohan.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll learn those options in upcoming sessions. Anyone have any more question? I'm requesting you guys, please don't post your questions in chat box. Any question anyone have, raise your hand. Ask your questions. Okay, no one is raising hand. No one has any question. Let's move forward. So we are able to create our Windows EC2 machine. Now, is our work completed? No, our work is not yet completed. Why? Because the next step, what we have to do it is, we have to connect to this machine. How we can connect? Let's learn that. So first of all, select our machine. Click on connect. Then go to RDP client. We have to generate the password. So here we have a password option. Click on get password. When I click on get password, they're asking me to upload the private key. Which private key? This private key, the private key which we have downloaded. Decrypt password. I've uploaded the key and then click on decrypt password. Here I got the password. Now, note down the public DNS. Our username. So whenever we are using Windows EC2 machine, we are going to create Windows EC2 machine. By default, their username is administrator. And here we are getting in different languages also. So default username is administrator for Windows. And then here we have password. Now, how we can connect to our machine? In our Windows machine, by default, we have one thing called remote desktop connection. So just search here, remote RE. When I just search RE, here I'm getting remote desktop connection. Click here, it get open. Enter our public DNS, the one which we have note down it. I'm entering my public DNS. Then Click on show options. Username. Enter. Connect. Connect. Password. Okay. Yes. Taking some time. Then we are able to connect to our Windows EC2 machine. Windows machine will take some time to load. Don't worry about that. You go with 1 CP, 1 GB of RAM, or go with more than that. Windows machine will always take time to load. First time it always take time. Then after that, again, you're trying to connect. Then the next time it will not take that much of time. So this is how you can connect to your Windows EC2 machine. Any question anyone have? Please quickly raise your hand. Anyone have any question? Yes, Mohammed, you can unmute.
Yeah, instead of public DNS, can we connect through public IP4?
Yes, you can connect by using that one also, and that particular IP address you can get from here. Once you select your machine, here you will get the public IP.
Okay.
Yeah, you can use that one also. Doesn't make any difference. You go with public DNS or public IP. Both are same thing. Because even if you see here, in this one also, a public IP is already given here.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone have any more question? Okay, no questions. Now, once we complete our practice, what we have to do with this particular machine? Because whenever this particular machine is running, they are counting these 750 hours. So 750 hours per month, which we are getting it, that is for running. Whenever the machine is in the running state, they are counting those 750 hours per month. So what we have to do after that? One option is you can stop this machine. Stop like means shut down. And whenever you need this machine, you can start this machine again. But you guys are new. It is not recommended from my side to stop the machines. It is always recommended from my side is to delete the machine. So means whenever you have to practice again, you can create that particular machine again. So means whenever you're creating machine again, it will be easy for you to remember these steps. Because if you're going to create that machine 10 times, you can easily remember those steps. If you're trying to learn manually, you will not remember these steps. But when you're doing practice, then you can easily remember those steps, how you have created that machine. So make sure after practice, you have to delete that machine. Delete means terminate. So how we can terminate that machine? So first of all, select that instance. Instance means this machine. Taking some time to load. Here we are. Next step. Click on instance state. If you want to stop, we have a stop option. If you want to terminate, we have a terminate option also. Here we have a stop. Here we have a terminate. In terminate, in the bracket, they have mentioned delete also. So if you are going to terminate, it means completely delete. You can't recover that machine if you don't have a backup. And right now, we don't need a backup, just an empty machine. We have created and it's an empty machine. We are going to delete. So click on terminate. It is clearly mentioned if you are going to terminate, we can't recover it. Click on terminate. Done. So they start terminating this particular EC2 machine and we are connected with remote desktop. It shut down. Now, right now it is showing us as shutdown. After a few minutes, it is going to show you as terminate. And if you are going to again check after 2 hours, this particular instance ID is going to completely delete from our AWS console also. It is also going to completely delete from our AWS, but that will take near about 2 hours. But this EC2 machine is terminated within 10 to 15 seconds. Now you can see it is terminated. Terminated means deleted. So this machine is deleted from AWS servers. It will show here for us for 2 hours, near about 2 to 3 hours, it was showing in our AWS account. If you are going to check after 2-3 hours, it is also going to completely delete. So this is how we can delete our machines once we complete our practice. And in this PPT, there are 2 self-learning links we have advanced, which I have already informed you that how to enable the region that you can learn by yourself. There is one more link I have. How to set your own password for Windows EC2 machine. Like right now, when we have generated the password, we got this type of password. Is it easy to remember this password? No, this password is not possible to remember. Like I need a password, something like this, training@123. This one we can easily remember. Is it possible? Can I set this type of password? Yes, it is possible. But it is only possible after connected to the machine. But first time we have to generate this type of password. The first time we can't do anything. I can't directly give this password. First time we need to go with this type of password. The second time, yes, we can get this type of password, but how to set this type of password, for that one, there is a self-learning link I have given it. You don't need to learn this thing right now. Like for now, these things you can learn in future also. So once you are easy with how to create a Windows EC2 machine, then you can learn these self-learning. These are videos. These videos are not going anywhere. These are self-learning videos. You have it. Whenever in future you want to learn, you can learn those videos. So this is how you can create your Windows EC2 machine and delete your Windows EC2 machine once you complete your. Now, any question anyone have? Please raise your hand. Anyone have any question? Okay, no question. Now we have to learn about how to create a Linux EC2 machine also. Do you guys want me to start how to create Linux EC2 machine right now, or you want me to start in tomorrow? Please confirm in the chat box, guys. It's up to you. I can start right now also. We have 10 minutes. You want me to start in tomorrow? I can start tomorrow also. Please confirm in the chat box today or tomorrow. Okay, few answers I got. They are saying today. So let's just learn about how to create Linux EC2 machine also. I'm going to only show you how to create Linux EC2 machine today. I'm not going to show you how to connect Linux to Linux EC2 machine. So we'll learn about, because concept is same. The concept which we have used to create Windows machine, same concept we are going to learn how to create a Linux EC2 machine also. Same process, only one single difference we have. What is that? We'll discuss it. First step is same. We have to give the name. So I'm giving the name as Linux 348. Step 2, we have to select AMI. In previous one, we have selected the Windows one. Now we are going to select the Linux one. Which Linux one I'm going? I'm going with Amazon Linux, which is by default Amazon Linux 2023 AMI. I'm going with that. So by default, they are giving us Amazon Linux. So let's just go with the Amazon Linux. Step 2 is completed. Third step, instance type CPU and RAM. Same thing, which we have selected the Windows one. Same one I'm going to select here also. Then we have key pair. Can I use the same key pair which I have used for Windows EC2 machine? Yes, if I want, I can use the same key pair also. This one. If I want, I can use that. But I'm not going to use, I'm going to create a new one. So let's keep separate. For Windows one, we'll keep separate. For Linux one, we can keep separate, but it's not mandatory. I can keep the same one also for both. But I'm going to keep it separate. Give the name, go with the PEM. What is it, PPK? We'll discuss it later. So just create key pair. Then same process we have followed. The same process we have followed for Windows. Same process I follow to create the PEM file for Linux. Also, there is no change in the process I follow. Now, the one single change which we have it here is port number. For Windows 1, system is by default enabling a port number RDP, which is required to connect Windows machine. And for Linux, a default port number which is required is SSH port number, which is required to connect Linux EC2 machine. Anyone knows the port number for SSH? Please confirm in the chat box. This one, the chat box is enabled. Correct. The port number is 22. For RDP, Windows port number is default port number is 3389. For Linux, a default port number for SSH is 22, which is by default they are enabling. Here I can't use the same security group which we have used for previous one. We have option. I can select existing security groups also. I can search that. 348 one. Here I'm getting. But this one I can't use it because in this one we have enabled RDP port. But I need the security group which is enabled with SSH port. So this one I can't use. So here I have to go with the another one. So I'm going to create another security group. Here. See the port range 22. Here we are. 22 port number. Scroll down. Storage. So like for Windows machine, minimum requirement is 30 GB. Same for Linux also we have a requirement which is minimum 8 GB is required. If I want to increase, I can increase till 30 GB because till 30 GB I have free. I can give here 30 also. They will not charge me a single rupee for that. I can give it. But the minimum requirement is for Linux is 8 GB. For Windows, it's 30. For Linux, minimum 8 GB is required. So we are getting it CPU, RAM, AMI, and hard disk. In AWS, hard disk is called as volume. And the default volume which we are getting, which we normally call it as C drive, that C drive is called as root volume. If you see here it is mentioned root volume. I know that it's not possible to remember these terminologies, so don't worry. In first few days, I'm going with the normal terminologies, which we use in our journal daily life, hard disk, operating system. But make sure after 4, 5, 10 days, you remember those terminologies. Because when you're going in for interview, you can't use hard disk, you can't use operating system. Those terminology, you can't use it in interview. You have to use a terminology which is used in AWS. And then advanced details, we are not going to discuss anymore right now. We are going to discuss in our upcoming session. And how many machines we are going to create? One, AMI, instance type, security group, and word. So here we are able to see, we can quick recap also, name, AMI. When you're doing practice, you want to create with Ubuntu, Red Hat, Sushi, you can create with that one also. Process is exact same to create the Linux machine. There is no difference in the process. For every Linux-based operating system, is having the same port number SSH. So same process you have to follow. There is no change. The only thing is I'm selecting Amazon Linux. You can select Ubuntu one. You can select Red Hat also. It's up to you. But make sure when you're doing first time practice, always follow the steps which I am doing in the training. Second time when you're doing practice, try to do something else. Don't try in the first time new things. In the first practice, always try the thing whichever I'm teaching. Second time, try with Ubuntu also, Red Hat also. Now, logistics. Done. So we are able to create our Linux EC2 machine. Any question? Anyone have how to create a Linux EC2 machine? Please raise your hand, because after this, I'm going to end the session. How to connect to this Linux EC2 machine? We are going to continue in tomorrow's session. Yes, Mohan.
Hi, Ankit. We created separate security group for Linux, right? Just now.
Correct.
Can't we create both RDP and SSH in the same security group? And
it is possible, but it's not a good practice, Mohan, to do.
okay, we
It
need to
can
always
possible. We can do that, but it's not a good practice. Really good question you have asked. We are not doing it in organizations.
okay.
That's why I'm not doing it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, got it.
Thank you. Anyone have any more question? Okay, now what I'm going to do it is I'm going to terminate this machine, because I'm not going to show you how to connect to Linux EC2 machine, because that's a little long process. So I'm going to terminate this machine. So I have teach you how to create Linux EC2 machine. Before in tomorrow's session, when we are going to start, I'm going to quickly create a Linux machine. Then in tomorrow's session, the first thing we are going to learn is how to connect to Linux EC2 machine. So from there, we are going to start in tomorrow's session, and then we'll see what are the other things we are going to learn in tomorrow's session is. First is we are going to learn about how to connect a Linux machine. Then we have PPK file using AWS. What is this? You will understand in tomorrow's session. What is I'm talking about PPK file. Then we are going to learn about some of the basic Linux commands also. So those things also we are going to start in tomorrow's session. If time permits, then we can move forward with our sum up of our topics. Thank you all. Thank you for joining today's session. See you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Thank you, guys.